Hello there, my name is Rohit Kumar, and today we are going to discuss a very important term, that is classification. Now, classification is a general term, but usually when it comes to a specific domain, it has different meanings. But particularly in general, it is just to separate out the data in different formal classes. Now, this definition of classes depends on the context, depends on the kind of diversity you are having with respect to your problem, and on what basis you are doing this classification, that is your criterion. So both these criterion and the classes depend on the particular context, and they vary from case to case. So we are going to specifically see that how particularly you are going to see all the related concepts, how specifically you can read about classification, how particularly you can find a particular work or a journal with respect to a particular kind of classification. So let's start. So here, different sorts of figures are there. So you can see that these figures are nothing but just showing some of the related classification figures. Here you are seeing it's a kind of a very common one that you are kind of having the classification into class A and class B. So it's a sort of binary classification. Similarly, you can have the multi-class classification where more than one classes are there. Okay. Now, when we are saying that we are doing classification, so in general, what is classifications? It is nothing but a kind of technique which is helping you to separate out the data. So here, similarly, if we say that what is sort of classification, so here you can find to identify the category of new observation on the basis of training data. Now, what is training data means the data which has already been used to train your model. If you are a student of AI, then obviously you must have heard of this particular term. Those are not. For them, let me tell you that whenever you are designing the automated program to automatically classify your data, then you need to train that program first. Means some past input, some past heuristic must have been there with model. Only then the model can classify or work on to the particular set of data. So here, in particular, the classification, the binary classifier says that if the classification problem is only given with respect to two classes, then it is the binary classifier, as I told you. And if you are having more than two, then it is multi-class classification. Now, directly we jump onto the kind of paper. So as I always tell to my kind of audience that whenever you are trying to find a particular journal or a particular article, just to jump onto any academic repository or any academic search engine. So here you have the Google Scholar. So if you just search a classification using AI or AI based classification or something like that, then you will find the related papers. So I have not given any time limit with respect to this, and only with respect to relevance we are having the answers. So if you are interested into a tumor classification, brain tumor classification, they have given over here using AI. Similarly, you might not be interested in brain tumor. You might be interested in a particular kind of images which are of a particular kind of domain. Then you can go for the image classification. If you are not interested in this particular, then you can go for the water quality classification. Now, again, all these things, most of these things will be done with the help of images only, but there might be videos also. Then you need to convert them into images, and then you can do the sort of thing. So again, just depending on the application area, you will have the related data set. And based on that particular data set, you will perform your classification. Now for classification, which particular method or the tool you are using, then that thing depend on the kind of specific researcher and a specific field, because for a particular kind of details out of image, what you want to highlight, what you want to hide, etc. Do you need some specific pre-processing or something like that? All these things depend which particular kind of model works better in a particular context. All these things will help you out in choosing a particular right classification model. So let's just jump onto the first paper. And here we are having the multi-class magnetic resonance imaging brain tumor classification using AI paradigm. So if you are interested, you can go through the full paper because view PDF option is there, and it's a kind of open source work, I think, because I don't have the credentials for Sense Direct. Still, I'm able to see all the details. So yeah, kind of open access. So all the related details with respect to, as it is brain tumor related, so patients, their related histories, brain tumor classification, brain MRI classification, their kind of here, yeah, classification they have given with respect to class prediction, 2 class prediction, 3 class prediction, 4 class prediction, number of classes, they have taken, and then based on the formatted data, they have done the kind of classification. Then similarly, if you are interested in the kind of patient demographics or the data preparation, all these things means that there will be, if there are patients, there will be n number of attributes related to patients. Now, which particular attributes you want to keep, which particular you want to hide or delete, that depends on you. So again, based on your specific research interest, you are supposed to pre-process your data and perform the kind of classification. So all these things are quite common. You will find the different machine learning models for classification. Again, as I told that depending on your need, you may choose a specific machine learning model. Then some of the training parameters for deep learning, if your data set is quite large, you can go for deep learning also, and then you can apply that particular deep learning method here. So DL versus ML performance they have compared over here. It again quite subjective for the research because that might not be necessary for your particular research. And then different results with respect to different metrics. And if you have some additional results, then you can put in the form of appendix as they have put. So you can see that different models they have used like CNN, decision tree, linear discrimination, naive bias, as VM, KNN, and simple. And not necessarily always to have all these, but still depending on your requirement, you can choose a specific model and then you can choose a specific metric. And then it's a variation like mean or SD or something sort of. So we just jump onto the kind of conclusion that when we choose in the classification problems, it is quite important to go into the kind of right direction, because whenever we are going for the kind of classification problem, it is always important that how many classes you want to create. If you are going for binary classification, obviously 2 classes, otherwise more. Additionally, there will be a kind of data set that you are focusing on. If your data set is not pre-processed, do kind of pre-processing whichever is necessary for improved results. Let me tell you some of the related data sets. If you don't want to create your data set, you can choose the existing available data sets. So there are a number of data sets available for classification purposes, including the iris if you are doing the iris related research, including the wine if you are doing some sort of classification based on the quality of the wine or something like that. Then you have the NIST dataset, you have the fashion NIST, you have the isolate, and related to this particular domain, you have the activity also. Then coming to different models, you have the catboot, then you have the KNN, you have CAE, you have Mont3, etc. Multiple models are also available. You will find a number of GitHub repositories also related to classification. So if you are interested, you directly jump onto GitHub and find some of the related libraries to help you out in classification purposes. And coming to the specific detailing with respect to papers, as I showed you, some of the papers or number of papers are available. Some of are practical based, some are the kind of theory based if they are survey papers. So if you are a beginner, you can go for the survey paper also. Additionally, if you are going for a specific implementation, like there is a work presented in CVPR 2017 named YOLO 9000. So it is just given for better, faster, and stronger classification. And its GitHub repository is also available. So CVPR is a top-notch conference. If you are interested, you can go and have a look onto the related code. Then the mobile nets are there. Then GradCam is there, and then different sorts of work like including the SegNet. And one more work is there, which is quite popular. That is Inception V4. So all these things are quite important, and all the papers have their specific relevance. If they are suitable for your research, go for them. Otherwise, you can choose your specific one. So that's all from my side. If you don't like anything, please do comment below and let me know what are the key points that we can improve on, and what are the other points that we can incorporate. So that's all. Thank you. Happy learning.